Your job is literally to get people onto TV. I know a lot of people whose dream that is. It's like the one thing they want. If they can see themselves sitting in the lounge and they pop up on TV and show everybody, hey, look, that's me. It's like dream made.
It
How did
is.
you
It
actually
is.
get into this place? Because looking at your background, you started off first in corporate, like your master's is in environmental studies, yet this is what you're
Yeah.
doing.
Very, very left field. But I've always had a passion for TV and film. Even when I was doing my master's and studying in Canada, I had this dream that I would do TV and film. Like I dreamt that I would make it big in Toronto. Didn't quite happen then, but it's been a journey. So the journey has been, I never thought I'd be an agent, but the passion has always been there. And it wasn't until even when I was in corporate, I used to duck and dive and go for auditions, call in sick, say I'm working from home, and be working on a computer on set, and then ducking to go quickly shoot. Um, but it was truly a passion that got me to where I am today, really. And probably the shift was when I got retrenched. Like, yeah, I I got retrenched, and I never thought that would be possible. And I was pregnant with my third child at the time, Kai Peter Middleton. And then when that happened, and I hit rock bottom, and I thought, well, what have I been doing all these years? Like I thought this was my core was corporate, and I had a good paying job. I had we had two cars, a house. Like it was just, yeah. But sometimes God works mysteriously, and
Looks like the
someone said
stakes were pretty high for you.
to be retrenched. It was hard. But actually, I think someone sent me a video the other day saying that um, when you're in a dark space, it's not. Think of yourself as being planted. Not like you're in the soil, you're buried. It's a dark place, but you're planted, and I think that's truly a testimony of that season. Like I was being planted, and um, the passion just grew straight bigger from there.
I imagine like you have all of these, you have this whole lifestyle that you've set up where you like had a settled life, you have your job, you know how you're gonna sort out every month, like, the kids are gonna be fine, the car's gonna be paid for, the house is gonna be paid for, all of this, and then suddenly you're thrown into the deep end. But I like to also look at things as there's this experiment with frogs where if you put the frog in a pot with water and you slowly boil the water, the frog doesn't know it must jump out or it's gonna die, and it actually gets boiled alive. But when you put the frog in boiling water, it knows instinctively, I have to get out, I have to jump, and it does whatever it can to survive. And it sounds like you've had a similar experience for yourself.
Definitely, definitely. I think it was only when I was out did I realize that I was actually chained, and that, and I mean, it takes, I think some people, that's okay. That some people, I've heard people that go, I just want to have a stability is my thing. Like I've heard that, and that's okay. I'm not, you know, like, I'm not saying but I feel that we have been designed to be creative and to follow our passions. And I feel like a 9 to 5, if it's not what you're passionate about, can almost, yeah, in a way kill you. Because you end up like years later and go, well, what was that all about? I just paid the bills. And what did amount to? I think that for me was a big thing. I love changing lives for the good. And my biggest thing was, especially because I was a director of one of the leading environmental firms, and being a Christian in corporate is not. I mean, any religion. It's hard to separate the two. Well, it's quite easy in corporate because it's like, okay, you pray there and you work here. Um, but I really believe that God wants us to run businesses, for his glory. So this is what I was called to do. And I think it was like, can you successfully do that? Can you? I think in the beginning was this. I had to have a faith-based business where I'm stepping into an industry, one that, yes, I have the passion for, but I had no clue. Like, I have made mistakes. I have learned along the way, and I've come a long way. But I can honestly say that God has guided every footstep. The doors that opened and the doors that closed. It was just like Him saying that, okay, He's like molding through the journey. He molds you, and He also kind of like He actually helps you filter through what you really called for. And I think that's big. Like, and I think anybody can say that money is not everything. Money is not everything. You can have a lot of money. You can be very successful and be very empty inside. Like, you can, and and I think even just in the journey of losing my corporate job and really like being broken down to the bare minimum, like he showed me, he said, because I kept going like, oh well, okay, God, if you've called me for the season, we could pay the house now, right? We're not paying the house this month. School fees was going down, medical aid. It was just like, it was literally stripped to the bare minimum. And what was really crazy, and I shared this story because it was one of the, in our brokest of broke, like brokest, like my husband won a trip to Monaco. I don't know if I shared this with you earlier. He won a trip to the Grand Prix, and and it was on our dream board. And I thought to myself, when I saw, before we knew he had won, I remember looking at that and going, no ways. There's no ways this dream is going to come true anytime soon, because the way we are in debt and the way we are, like, I remember crying at the, like when I couldn't pay the school. It was just like, it was tough, but God took us to one of the most richest places in the world. All expenses paid. They even gave us pocket money. Like, that's how that's how miraculous it was. And it was on our anniversary weekend. Like, how could that not be God? Like, I just go, how it was so orchestrated. And He took us there. And I mean, when we got this pocket money, we paid. Literally, we were able to pay for the house, the school fees. We managed. I said to my husband, we are eating crackers in Monaco. Like, you know. But yet, even with paying everything, we were still having salmon and croissants. But yeah, so we went to Monaco, and I think like when I was there, I was shown what having a lot of money is. I saw people on yachts and like rich, rich. But yet, I also saw an emptiness that I had never witnessed before. We were taken, you know, to these places, and we saw these fancy cars, and yet I could see something that was missing. And it was that trip to Monaco that made me realize that, okay, like, you can have a lot of money and be very, very empty. I didn't want to lose God. I think that was my biggest thing. I said, God, like, you are more, you are all that I need. Whatever, like I am more with you. So anything else is a bonus, like everything else is a bonus. Like, if He's gonna, like, you can take everything away, but if I hold on to Him, I am I am winning in life. And so that was my, and I think that shift, when that shift happened, um, I think God was like saying, okay, cool, now I can take you to where I want you to go. And not to be holding on to money like it's the world. It's, I think you have to, it's great. It's amazing to be blessed. Like, it's amazing to be able to pay bills and to have a successful business. But in my opinion, ultimately, this is God's business. So I'm just but as do it. Like, I'm His employee, if that makes sense, of His finances in the business. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think even just if you look at things, there's this saying of Warren Buffett that I found very amazing. And I mean, Warren Buffett is literally one of the richest guys in the world. And he says, you can get divorced, you can lose everything, but there are certain things you will always have. You know, you can lose all your money, you can lose all your relationships, but what you'll always have is yourself, the knowledge you have, the faith you have, the personality you have, those intangibles, that don't pop up on a spreadsheet. Like you may think you are successful because I've got my dream job, I've got this office and everything. But what happens once all of that's gone? There has to be something more tangible. And the sad thing is, these things that truly matter to us aren't things we can actually quantify. Like, you can't go tell somebody, hey, this is exactly how happy I am. No, but you can show them, this is how much money I have, this is the car I drive, all of that. And the nice thing is, those bleed into your relationships as well. Like, if you feel fulfilled and you're happy and you're in a good space, you will cultivate relationships with people that want to see you like that. People that also are in that space as well, you know.
So true.
And that's the joy of also being true to yourself, like you mentioned. Because when you do something you don't enjoy, psychologically, you plant a thought in your mind, this is what I deserve. I don't deserve better. And you took your experience like, this is God showing me, you know, I deserve better.
He literally showed me the way. And what's crazy is like, even within the agency, I see, because I work with a lot of people, and I can see the journeys they're on, like whether they're in a job that they really hate and they want to step out. And it's not necessarily that the TV and the film is the answer. That, I mean, yes, it's amazing to see yourself on TV, but for me it's the journey. Like, it's the journey that I've get. There's many people like that have, and it brings me such joy to see the success that's come with it, the lady who runs my website, she resigned from her job, and now she's working on her own time, and the company that she resigned from is still contracting to her. Like, she's now making more money and still doing the passion of TV and film and shooting commercials, and still getting, like, but yet it took the shift where she was just like, wait a minute, I deserve more. And I like, and stories like that, like, just bring me such joy.
So your passion was to be in TV yourself, but yet you went into the space of talent management and, running an agency. How did you make that switch from, this is my dream, to, you know what, let me help others live that dream?
um, so I'm literally day one of Stone Culture. Like, this is it. This is the first talent. The day one. Like, and I love the joy it brings with being on set. Like, um, it's taken a journey for me myself to see what it takes to get there as well. But what I've realized is that it's about identity. And I realized that a lot of us are not seeing ourselves the way God sees us. And so this is where the agency mode kicked in. Like, I love being able to help be that mirror, to because a lot of times people don't want to look in it. They don't want to see themselves the way God sees them. And Stone Culture is very much that. It's very much going, do you know that God made you so amazing? You know, do you know that even with the flaws that you have, he designed you. And I realized that there's such a hunger for that, and a hunger for that in this industry, because this industry is an industry that sells body and sex, and like, it's all about how you look. And and yes, I tell people, it's like, yes, it is very much about how you look. But in Stone Culture, it's just like, I want to know inside first. I want to know that, let you know that from the inside, you understand that the outside was a masterpiece that was beautifully and wonderfully made. And therefore, when you realize that, and this is where I see the shift in my talent as well, when people are accepting that and seeing that and confidently stepping, that's when the jobs come. And that's what's been the game changer. And so I can't guarantee when people join my agency if I'm going to book them next week, next month, next year. But what I can guarantee for them is that when they join Stone Culture, it's going to be a journey of the heart. And if you're willing to allow us to come alongside you as your agent, we will help reflect what is good, what is noble and what is praiseworthy. And we will help you delete those voices that come. Because the voices come, they even come to me, the ones that say you're not worthy. Do you really think you're going to get on TV? Do you really think you're somebody? Like those voices, we all get those things that come. It's just a matter of how loud it is within each individual. So we help tame those voices. And I feel that the people who join the agency are actually called. And when they understand that they're called, that also shifts. They're like, wait a minute, you know, yeah. But it's an interesting journey. Yeah, people are from all walks of life, all religions, all life experiences, um, and I feel like there's also a healing that's necessary in their hearts, a healing that, and that for me is a big thing. Like, yes, it's really exciting to get onto TV, and yes, like I'm screaming, I'm but for me, what's so important is what's happening on the inside, um yeah.
Yeah, every battle is won in the mind before it's won on the battlefield. So I've written actually something a few weeks about, this way it's becoming yourself, your best self, because the irony is the way we are wired as social beings is, we try and fit in with others. So when you make friends, you look for people with similar qualities to you. But if you think about your closest friends, the things that come to mind isn't the things that's like everybody else or the things that are just like you. If you go to anybody's funeral, the things people tend to mention is not what you did day to day. Oh, he was such an amazing, um, he did everything to the T. It's always the unusual stories. Like, do you remember that time when he jumped off the building into the pool and then we were all laughing at him or something like that? It's always the most odd situation. And that's what makes you, as Dr. Zoo says, you have to be odd to be number one in anything. Like, you will, the best you can ever be if you're trying to be anybody else other than you is number two. Nobody can be you better than you are yourself.
So true.
And yeah, you are the only one that has lived your life, knows your experiences and capabilities better than anybody else. Any decision you make will always affect you. Any risks you take, you will bear the burden, and whatever the outcome, you will enjoy the fruits of the labor or learn the lesson from the failure. And that's what makes it also tough to make certain decisions because you see the severity of how it's going to impact you, and what I'm getting from you is you empower people, like you help them to see this about them that makes them that you can see there's this trove of gold waiting to be unleashed. So how do you go about, empowering people? Like it's one thing to just say the right words. Like there's, when you're in that dark space, somebody can say the most immaculate speech and you'll be standing there like, yeah, that's cool, but I just don't feel like doing it.
I think it's like, how can I put this? Like an orphan that doesn't know what love is, you know, um, and and no matter how much you try to love that person, they'll find a way to almost like push you away, like because they don't know what love is. So they've been dealing with a lot of rejection. So in this journey of helping people, the people that are like, some are quick to on board and some are quick to click and go, this is what I've been looking for all my life, and I'm here. But others, it's like so an orphan is an example of love, because you end up also getting the bad from them as well. Even as much as you can love, it's the resistance, because they do not believe that they could be loved or they're worthy to be loved.
Yeah, it's a lot of programming that you have to go and change.
Yeah, it's also like getting over an addiction, you know, bad habit, that it's a habit that you have continuously been in. Whatever habit that is, like, in this case we're talking about the inner thoughts, but as well there's other habits, like, alcohol and drugs, and so within stone culture, I have had to walk journeys with people in those spaces as well, where I'm saying there's so much more for you. Do you believe it? I've had talent like actually cry when they've gotten booked, and it's disbelief that they're actually in the space. They're just like, I can't believe I'm here. Like that. And I'm like, believe it, but it's not the end. We're still going. But I've also had, that cycle of people so easily wanting to give up on their dreams, and therefore themselves. So it's also been a journey of going, okay, because some have even just been like, don't talk to me, don't send me any more briefs, I cannot handle rejection anymore. And you're like going, wait, you can't just wait. And when you see the the beauty and the fruits that are going to come from someone, like, when you see it and they don't see it, like, you continuously still have to stand ground. I would usually like take a break, like have a moment, find words of encouragement, come back. Like, ultimately, it I cannot give up, you know on individuals. It's not that every person has stayed with stone culture all through. Like, I've had people move on for various reasons, whether it be, starting a family, or yeah, like, just a change of what they want to achieve. And that's okay as well. Because I'm also fine with that. I'm also like, you know, our time has come. You are ready to fly. You're ready to go. And it's okay.
It sounds like it's not even just building just like having the talent to have trust in you, but also trust and faith in themselves. It's a combination of the two. And, one idea I like with building trust is it takes a lot of perseverance. As Einstein said, it's for him, it wasn't that he was necessarily that smart. He just stayed with problems longer. That's how he always phrased it. And trust is a similar thing. If you think of a child, so Freud had this idea of, there's different stages of development. And the first stage for him was the adult stage. So that's the stage in life where you develop either a trusting or distrusting personality. And the thing that makes the difference is whether your parents routinely, looked after your needs. When you needed to be fed, they fed you. When you needed your diaper changed, they changed it. And that's not something you can game. Like, trust is something you build over time. Like, you can give evidence at first initially to say, this is what I'll do and this is what I've done for people. But the proof is in the pudding. You have to keep repeat repeatedly delivering over and over and over and over again. You have to make a body of undeniable evidence where even if somebody tries in their mind their hardest to say, I can't trust this person or I don't trust myself, it's like, but there's all of this, that even if something happens, it's like a blip in the ocean.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. It's yeah, yeah. I totally understand it.
In terms of personality, like, you would look at somebody and you'll be like, there's something about them. What typically gives you a good sense? Because, there's also people that can flatter to deceive. Like, they'll do everything. They look like this immaculate person, and it's like, that's exactly what I need. But once you get the person, you start seeing the chips, and then it's like, okay, this isn't the Lamborghini I wanted. it's you hear the engine in the distance, but when the car pulls up, it's this old run down Bucky, and it's like, hmm,
Yeah, it's a tough one. I think one, you don't judge a book by its cover, is what I've learned. I've had people join in my early days, when you kind of, yeah, and why I say don't judge a book by its cover, you don't know what the industry's looking for as well. So yeah, it's different walks of life, different ethnicities. So I can't. There is no boundary really, uh, for the outside for the outside appearance of the individual who's joining. But having said that, um, I'm very conscious um, of what's inside, and I think sometimes you can know that if this person's ready to take this journey, um, with you. Like you get a sense, like it's like dating, you know. You you meet the person outside, it's looking great. Then all of a sudden you've got this like I don't know. It's all about me, and there's like and I think that's for me is a big thing. Like when you're so self-centered that you don't even see a thing around you. In fact, you are joining the agency for what it is for you. Like it's all about you. And I think that's probably maybe my biggest red flag is this like, well, like I've had someone go, like treat me really like weird, like not weird, not like a nobody, but just like all of a sudden when they found out that I'm an agent, a complete change. Oh my gosh. Um but like I've always wanted to do this, and like, but don't ever send me to those extras jobs. Like I never. And I'm like, wait a minute, who is this person? Like, but then also what was even coming out, I was just like all of a sudden you want my number and you want to join me, and I just had this moment of going um, I don't think this is the right time. I I don't, not even right time. I don't think film culture is the agency for you. That's okay. That's okay because we operate very different, and you will see it in the talent. When we show up at set, there is um, there's an authenticity that goes far beyond, and I hear it from my clients as well. Um, people in stone culture are different. I
yeah. What
mean,
I'm
we
getting
we
also is it's not so much about what somebody shows you. Like when you prefaced at the start, it was, you know, the industry seems like it's all about how you look, how you present yourself, and everything. But you have a large focus on who the person is, and I believe that would bleed into the person because the way you think, the way you feel, bleeds into how you present yourself to the world.
exactly. Like if you are going to be, I can tell you now that if you're going to be so self-centered and all about you, the director's going to see that. They're going to see it. They see right through it. Like if you're going to show up for an audition and you're like, here I am, like you need to be somebody people want to work with. And like I hear hectic stories about certain talent on set. I'm like, wow, no, I'm like not from Stone Culture people, but the industry talks as well. Like, humble yourself. This You have an opportunity to serve when you show up at set, at whatever level it is. Whether you're a background artist, serve like you're the best background artist in the industry. Whether you're a lead, serve like like just come as an act of service, not as if everyone around you is serving you. Like, oh my gosh, I don't know how you do your makeup. Like, this is not how. Like, wait, serve. You're a blank canvas. If the makeup artist, I mean, it's a tough one. I remember once though. um, I remember I did once have a bad makeup artist for myself, but it was really bad, and I still shot the scene with the bad makeup. Like I said, you know what? If if it's bad, the director will call cuts and change it up. Like it it will get heard somewhere along the lines. I mean, in this case, I was also supposed to be acting as a 55-year-old, um, like a female. I was 41 at the time, so like I was just like, you know what, maybe. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I was being aged. It wasn't that I was upset about how. It was more like I was just done unlike the character, because I was a supporting cast. So I had been in the series for a while. Then it's just like I have this continuous look, and then all of a sudden I've got this hot pink lipstick, and like this is like left field. But anyways, then I thought to myself, you know what? Sometimes at that age you get a lipstick. Like today, my release is trying out a new lipstick. So it is what it is. Nobody said anything. Like I did have my little meltdown in the washroom and washed my face before leaving. Um, but I didn't cause a scene.
For me, it also sounds a lot like it speaks on professionalism. If you come with this attitude, it's me, 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 me. I'm the star, and everybody must do as I bid. It sets people off because the thing is, you're not just doing a job now. Like that's not the whole purpose. Especially, I imagine in your space, it's you don't want to just get cast now. You want to get cast continuously, routinely.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think, like, also just within the agency, how you treat people, I think that's probably my filtering process, like of whether this relationship can continue is your ability to of treating people well, no matter what the hierarchy of their status is. Like it does not matter. You are human. We are all human. You love, and you love well. And I think like that's, yeah. I can where Stone Culture is as an agency. Um, we love each other. I love my talent. My talent love each other. Yeah. We had a couple of marriages in the agency as well, but that's not ultimately what. But it gives me joy when I go, wow, you found the love of your life on set. Okay, I love it.
And I think it's even like if I look at that, anybody can, you know, respect the king and worship and adore, but not everybody respects the guy begging on the street. It's a good filter for, the type of person somebody is.
Within Stone Culture, like I think one of the biggest challenges that I've had to face. I know you didn't ask me this, but it kind of just boils down to um, um, how we treat each other and everything. But um, in the industry, you have agencies that only deal with the main actors, the big guys, the the actors, the red carpet guys, and you have the ones that are just in the middle, and then you have like an extras agency which only deals with extras, doesn't do features, and um, I never, I didn't always do extras. I kind of started doing extras or background artists maybe 2-3 years into Stone Culture. But what was so amazing for me was just that when you're an extra, it's a very humbling process, number one. But if you are able to humbly bring yourself to being behind the scenes and have the right etiquette and the professionalism and belief that you are worthy of the dream set before you. Like if you can show up to the smallest job in the hierarchy of the industry with the professionalism and um, maturity and stance as a lead, it's a game changer. Because at this point, I will know if I can get you here. At this point, I will know. Like, and having said that, in our agency, the people that join are not all aspiring actors. No, we've got doctors, we've got lawyers, we've got people who are retired, we have people from the township. We have a array of expertise that are not necessarily aspiring to be like a main actor, but they still land those jobs. They still land these big acting jobs, and still will show up to be a background artist. And even that's true to myself. And why it's important, and I think I've had um, clients even go like, are you an extras only agency? I'm like, no. It's important for me as an agent to make sure that my talent get experience on set. So whether that's training them or getting them as a background artist, because you will get a lot of background artist jobs. Lead jobs, you maybe will only get an opportunity like that once every month or 2 months. So what happens in the in between? What keeps fueling your dream? What ensures that you're surrounded by the right people in the industry that you want to be in? And that for me is why doing the background artist work is amazing. And you can see our talent have so much fun on set. And what I love is that we've got this culture of proudly South African, actually proudly, it's almost like all different walks of life that actually might never have interacted, you know? I think that for me was just like, yeah, just and inspiring as well, because they understand each other now. Like it's like going, okay, cool, and we work as a family to ensure that we show up and we show up well. It's not a selfish journey. So when people rise, so when people get booked, you best believe that the whole of soul culture is this like whoa, because they we were we were on set last week together behind the scenes pretending miming, and here you are, the main character.
Yeah, it sounds like you have very much a culture where it's we grow together, we succeed together. It's not if I win, nobody else can win, or if somebody wins, that means that's a role lost for me. It's we want each other to grow together. Yeah, and even the story of if you're just an extra, it reminds me of an episode I did with Elton Fester, the founder of Fascinate. And in his story, it was where he started working at South African Airways. This was fresh out of apartheid. They were just employing him because of his color, it seemed like. And they didn't really want him to do anything. They didn't think much of him. But in the midst of this, like in spite of how they treated him and stuff, he took this as this is a learning opportunity for me. I'm just happy to be
Yeah,
here. And then
yeah,
people
yeah.
started taking advantage of him. They wanted to coast, they wanted to laze around, and they were like, okay, we've got this little boy here. He's going to do our job. So he had this guy, Manny, ask him to do his job. And then he did it. And then the others saw it, and then they started jumping on the bandwagon. And eventually, he knew how to do each of their jobs to the point that, if one of them is sick, it's like, okay, it's fine. We won't miss you. But if he's sick, there's a big gap. It's taking those little opportunities that might seem, insignificant and looking, how can I make the most out of it? And it's those sort of experiences that helped him create his app now. And there's a saying by Shane Parrish that I like, and it's time is the friend of someone who is properly positioned and the enemy of somebody who is poorly positioned. It's and the thing is your positioning is decided before you act. It's what you do in advance. And a lot of what you run in the agency, it's not just you decide today this is how stone culture is going to be. I imagine it's stuff that you've had been doing, and it's like when that opportunity comes, you're ready to capitalize on it.
And I think, like, I know without a shadow of doubt that time will tell and tables will turn. And It's hard at the moment. I've literally had a casting director say, no, I'm not sending you this job. I will catch wind that a certain job is out, and I know that one of my talents will fulfill that job, like, and do it well, like, and is and and that particular casting director just say no straight to my face. I need good actors. So in his or her mind, I'm not going to say names, it's a no. Because they have, how can I say, packaged the agency on their own. And I think that's the tough part for Stone Cold for me, because um, I want to create those opportunities. And if you're going to close the door, okay, it actually works in my favor, because I worship a God that's going to open the door, and it's going to be, yeah. But it takes the journey. So like, even when that happens, like, I'll have my mouth down and go like, because now I'm going, I know that I've got A-listers in this agency. Ones that they may not be on the big movie yet, but they're A-listers. They are they're gonna rise, and they're coming. They're coming. Trust me when I say this, Keenan, you will see. We'll look back, and I will remember the day the no's happened, and no one believed. But that's okay, because like I thought to myself, so what does this mean, that I stop doing behind the scenes work? No, I know why I'm doing it. I know why Stone Culture does extras roles. It is putting food on the table for people. It is inspiring. It is igniting changes in each other's lives that go far beyond. And so therefore, we will continue and we will rise. And in fact, it will come to a point where, yeah, it's, yeah. But time will tell, and we shall wait. Yeah.
So speak to me about how you cope with rejection, because it sounds like, it's something, especially in your field of work, you get exposed to a lot, where you reach out for this opportunity, and then also it's not just yourself, the rejection, it's also your talent, like helping them cope with the rejection. So
I think people just think that, oh, um, when it's a no, it doesn't affect me, not my talent. I think they know, because we're walking a journey together. So um, when they get a no, I probably get more no's. Last week I had a role where uh, 4 Stone Culture talent were shortlisted or had a callback for one role that had 5 people in. So it was a 1 in 4 chance that we would get it. And myself, I was also shortlisted on the same job. It was a 1 in 2 chance that I would get it. And when I got the feedback that none of us got it, wow. Yeah. So I I I mean, I do get no's all the time. Like, it's not, but I do get yeses. And you will always get more, not always, let me just, always is a strong word, but generally speaking in the industry, it's more no's than yeses, because you have to keep continuously putting this up. But this particular day, like, I went into the thoughts, the voices came loud in my head. They, like, it was, I thought, I was thinking about, and also with this particular week, I also had the same situation of a no to it was particularly African female actress role. So it was like I was already dealing with a rejection of not getting a speaking part in a particular commercial. Like when they don't even send it to you, you can't even like try to show up. Like, it's like your people must not even enter the store. Like, that's how, like, and I have to be like, it's okay, it's fine. One day, it's okay, it's fine. And then I'm having 4 out of 5, and like, it was so. I woke up the Saturday morning pretty down. I didn't sleep the night before. I was going through all kinds of things of like asking God questions of like is it me? Am I too much? Is it my agency? Are we too much? Like it was like too much is my attack. Like because I'm very big on personality and like so like but and like you will so how I deal with it, I do have a moment to be sad, and I think it's important. I think it's very important to acknowledge the emotion. Feel it because it will remind you of why you why did it hurt so much, because you genuinely wanted it, right? So feel it, but don't feel it for long. Then you must just put it aside, because there's so many factors in this industry that determine why you get a job or why you don't. And so many people show up. Like this particular audition for the 4 out of 5. Yes, there were a heck of a lot of people that showed up. Like for the 4 stone culture talent out of the 50 to 100 that showed up, like that calls for a celebration. So we celebrate the small wins. When you get when you get to go to an audition, that is a win. Just showing up, because that door has been opened. So showing up is a win. Okay? Getting a call back means you get to meet the director. That is a win. You get to get face to face with the person who's directing this commercial or movie. That's a win. Okay? So celebrate the wins. You have an opportunity to build a relationship that or like to serve and give your best performance, even if you don't get it. Okay? Because that's still a win. So even for myself to show up and still not get it is it's still a win. I got to meet that particular director for the first time. And so I got to show it. And listen, sometimes your performances can be bad. It's okay. We don't always have our A game. I don't always get all my auditions. I get a lot of no's. So you be sad, quickly turn around to celebrating the wins, acknowledging them, and accepting that you're not what they're looking for. I think that acceptance is okay. Okay, because some of the factors like race, age, you know, I went for an audition. I've twice been to an audition where they've told me I'm too pretty because they were looking for this particular role. The person mustn't look pretty. I'm thinking to myself, guys, come on, guys, we can roughen up things. Don't worry. I mean, if I can mess up my eyebrows, I can mess my hair, I can take off the makeup, like so. So I mean, so can you see how skin tone, skin color, your eyebrows, your facial expression, there's way too much. There's way too much. So just accept that you're not what they were looking for at the time. Okay, it doesn't delete your worthiness to be in front of the camera. So you best believe you better pick yourself up and come to the next one. Forget about that. Forget about that. Funny enough, the very next day, one of the 4 guys, I mean, imagine I had to tell all 4 of them plus myself that we didn't get this job. And then no one got the job in Stone Culture, which is it's painful. But one of the guys got the job the very next day. Remember, from a no, that you have to be agile in this industry. You have to know that sometimes it can change around, because all of a sudden the client changed their mind and said, "Well, the racial balance in this ad is not working in our favor." Wait, who are the other guys that auditioned? Boom, there we go. So there's so much that factors in, and some things you can't change. Like in that particular case, if the brief is saying that, okay, from a person of color to a person of non-color or vice versa, you can't change your race.
It sounds also like it's, accepting that there are only so many things that you can do. Like, you know, they will want a certain type of person, but it doesn't mean you have to go rest on your laurels and just accept, oh, they're never going to want me. Always be prepared, because you never know when that might come. It might, like in your case, the very next day.
Yeah, it was very. Did you know I cried on the phone? I cried on the phone because, and I said to the client, I said, I was trying to figure out what we did wrong. And she said, you didn't do anything wrong. Like, your people were amazing. They just wasn't what the director was looking for. But this one is. So, yeah. So it's a tough one, and I think and I think so often, especially if the brief is a lot of money, like the industry for a day's work, people can get paid a lot of money. So it's some like it almost feels like, I mean, that's why I tell people, don't be um spending your money before you shoot, because like even when you do get the job, sometimes that particular scene might not even show up in the final edit. Don't be going telling everybody, yo guys, I'm shooting, because sometimes, and it happened to me, my early days, I got blurred out of a Nando's ad. I think it's worse to be blurred because you're there, but they decide that, I'd actually just this child, yeah. So I got blurred, and then I didn't end up getting the fee of the use of my face, because I was just like, but I'm there, but I'm not. So wait till the final ad's out, and then proceed. And what I was so excited about, so one of my artists, in Jabulo, she recently did a very very big commercial where she was a lead. And now you must know, after the experience of having someone say no, you don't have any actresses that can handle script, like, so from a no, you must know that the ad, we had already booked her and it was already an edit, the you know but obviously this casting director had not seen what we're capable of, and sometimes that happens. And so you have to still be okay with, okay, cool, right, fine, you might have not have seen, but I know what the talent is capable of, and it's not like I'm going to send them people who are incapable of handling script and acting. So the very when the ad came out, I was just like, hey, just wanted to say this is who I would have loved to see into that audition. Please consider for future. Bye. The other side of you, like, I mean, the flip side, like when the no happened, I was so offended, I was so emotional. But yeah, as an agent, you also have to humble yourself as well, and just accept that you're also on a journey as an agency, and so one day is one day.
Tell me about being an agent. So if somebody wants to become an agent, like, what is it actually like? Because I imagine in my mind, before you do the thing, you have certain expectations. You see somebody doing it, and you have some preconceived notions of what it's like. So maybe speak on what people might think it is, what it is like, what you do, versus what it is in actuality.
I think people think that agency life is about, you know, high, a big office, lights, camera, action. Um, my agency isn't like that, and I'm very clear about telling people that some culture, if you're thinking that it's going to be all glitz and glam, red carpets, the works, if you're thinking like that at the beginning, I'm going to tell you, we run this agency very different. I run run it from home. I'm a mother of 3 kids. I homeschool my kids. I'm sitting here on this call with a sick child on my bed. Like, and I literally just got out of my pajamas 30 minutes ago. But that doesn't mean that I've been making moves all morning. I'm up at 4 in the morning, making sure that talent are on set, making sure that um, you know that people need to be where they need to be. You're continuously sending quotations, continuously making sure that auditions are happening. In any given moment, the agency is moving. I may be here, but we have a team of people that are making sure that people need to be where they need to be, and I'm making sure people need to be where they need to be. So whether it's going for wardrobe, going for auditions, going to actually physically shoot, like all that requires um, um, administratively, it's a lot. I don't think people think that running an agency requires a lot of admin. It's hectically admin. You and But one of the biggest things that I say to people, if you want to become an agent, you better make sure you have the capabilities to work with people. It is a big people thing, huge. You know, it's about managing people and their dreams and their expectations, and to be able to handle good and bad. Like, you must know that if you're walking a journey with people, like, I mean, some of my people who are still with me today, in the early days when we were walking the journey, I was just like, you know, like why are you attacking me? Like, you agents pay when they get paid. Actually, not all agencies paid when they get paid. Most agencies pay after 3 months, just so you know. That's how the industry works. We can shoot next week but get paid 3 months later. Like, that's how. Or like, my agency, we work with the when we get paid by the client, we pay our talent within the week of receiving the funds, which is a very different way of operating. But for me, what's important about that, it's not about making money off of the money that's been paid to me. It's about making sure that the livelihoods of my people are taken care of. Those people need the money. Like, so it cannot sit in my account for months so that I can gain interest. No, I will pay my talent. And so even with that, like, I think sometimes you got a lot of people who desperately need the money, so they are knocking on your door saying, "When are we getting paid? When are we getting paid?" Like, right now as an agency, the people know that when we get paid, when Kanya gets paid, we are going to get paid. Like, but in the early days, when with some of them, when they're going like, "I don't understand why we need to wait," like, but that also takes learning on my side to make sure that the expectations of the talent right from the beginning is understood. That if you shoot tomorrow, don't it's not a paid when you've done the work. That's unfortunately not how it works. We have to invoice. We have to make sure we get the purchase order. If the client sends you a late purchase order, you can only invoice from 30 days. So that's why it causes a lot of delay. That used to stress me out a lot in the beginning, especially when I was dealing with. We did a massive international TV series where we needed people from the township, and I think, and that was very much in my early days where cash flow was like there was none, and so we were shooting over 3 months. Now I'm dealing with people who are working every day. The amazing part is they feed you on set. At this particular job, they were picking them up right from the township, taking them and bringing them back. But I did not have the funds to pay them. Like, I remember until I got paid, right? So, but I remember, like, for them, like, a month is way too long. Like, when I got to the 1 month mark, I honestly, like, feared for my life. Like, I had this moment of going like, they think I've run away with their money. I have not been paid. Like, I had one guy, and you must know, in this particular job, the stressful part was that you feel like you called and you can see the end product. You can see that the money that they're going to get is going to change their lives, but I don't have it yet. But I can also understand why they might think that, we did this job, we're doing this job since, a month ago. People from that job are still with the agency now. When I got through that, when it eventually was payday, wow, oh, the Lord was good. It was just like the biggest relief. I couldn't wait to pay. I have you know that once that penny dropped, that Stone Culture actually has jobs that pay people in the township. The next day when I came to collect the people, I had people wanting to sign up, like they were ready. Like, I actually had because we were doing like villages, so it was like 80 to 100 people, and I had to like be like, we can't take more than the numbers. So this bus is like 80 people, and these are the list of the confirmed people. So I'm literally calling the names of the people. It's 5 o'clock in the morning, by the way, in the township. Like, and it was winter when we were shooting that particular one. But yeah, it was still life changing. So those guys, yeah, they had the time of their life. But those early days, your cash flow. Yeah, if you're gonna start an agency, you better make sure your cash flow and you need to be on top of finances because it has a ripple effect across the agency. You cannot afford to yeah be in, and I think a lot of people have, or not people, agencies that have struggled have been agencies, one that I believe that believe that this job is all about the money and taking people's money. That and this is not just a South Africa thing. Like even when I got my first agent in Toronto, I had to pay $700. I mean, this was in 2003. $700 as a student just to get a portfolio shoot and join the agency. Did I get a job from that agent? No, nothing. I've seen some dodgy agents. Like, I think that's also what scares me about the industry is that people like, if you're not a people person, if you're not in it for the people, like, yeah, yeah, greed will take over, and you will ultimately fail.
Yeah, there's a lot of horror stories in the industry. Like, I mean, a big one now recently is Diddy, like all the stuff about him, where, there's the ugly side of things that most people hear about in news stories, for instance, where people go for like a casting call or something, then they sort of get forced into doing porn or something, for instance. How do you also guard your talent against that? Like, that you don't ever put them in situations where they might be at risk or something?
I mean, nudity is a big thing. Like like we don't do nudity as jobs on that. So if it does come up that there is that, I'm very very yeah, unfortunately or fortunately, I know. But they are, I mean, I also believe in people's journey and acting capabilities. Like, this is not to say that, you know when you become, like, because when you become an A-lister actor, there are certain requirements that might a job might have, and we do have talent that are capable of doing those roles. And it's not necessarily like it's definitely not porn. Please don't even. That's not it. It's more like, um yeah, yeah. When we did Smoke and Mirrors, my daughter in Smoke and Mirrors had to do like for the audition, for the particular audition, there was a sort of strip dance kind of a thing. There was no nudity as such, but that kind of like, and I understand that that's not for everyone. Like, the character of her um, needed to be someone who was very sexual. So thankfully, I was the mother of that daughter. So, and I was old, so there was nothing. I didn't have to cross that bridge. But um, yeah, that particular show did have um, scenes that were more intense than other
Yeah,
shows.
it sounds like you're also very involved to make sure that whatever your talent does, it aligns with your values.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, I have to. You have to play open cards, like, and explain what the job is requiring, because as an actor you are a mirror, so you are reflecting like a certain character. So, but I'm also very conscious that everybody has certain values that they need to stand by, and that for me is important. So um, if you don't drink alcohol and you don't want to promote alcohol for whatever reasons, I've had both extremes. I've had the fact that it's for religious reasons. So whether it's Muslim or Christian. So, and then I've had the other side where the talent has been a previous alcoholic and a recovering alcoholic. And so um, that person knows that being in that scene is just going to either one, cause a relapse, or two, um, yeah, promote something that they have seen the negative effects of. Does that mean that Stone Culture doesn't do alcohol brands? No. what it means is that stone culture is very much aware and in tune with their talent, that that we need to go into those spaces knowing that you're okay to enter those spaces, you know. um the same thing about, I think we did do, we didn't do it actually in, but we had a brief that was it was a strip show scene. It was a scene also for an international movie, and they needed background artists of girls in sort of booty shorts and booty shorts and sports bras. Like, it was, that was like, imagine swimwear, no nudity. But then they also needed the extras for the guys in the club. So yeah, now I have to also be conscious of porn, like people who are struggling with that kind of addiction. Um, and we didn't participate in it, but I was very much aware of, like, if you're going to enter into that space, it's one that must, you must, are you able to handle that kind of scene, as an individual, whether you're also the girl or the boy. I mean, um, I don't want it to affect people's marriages, relationships. Um, yeah, so kind of like guarding them and protecting them and going, okay, cool, or even just like, um, being able to go into a character that's a difficult character that might actually impact you as an individual, like, and how you view yourself, you know. um like, being aware. And I think what helps with myself being not just an agent but an actress was, I go on these journeys so that I may lead others through them, you know. So I go ahead so that I may lead. So when I was in Smoke and Mirrors, there was this one scene where the one of the characters, like shoos me away and says, like, I'm not actually in the scene, but I was reading the script, like, and it says, there's nothing under that goat skirt. I think that's what it said. Like the, you know, like, basically, you know, very degrading thing. And I mean, it's just a script. It's not like it's not like he was saying it to my face. It's not like this person, like. But I mean, I had a moment where I was just like, yo guys, yo, my gosh, like, wow, I'm a goat. You know. um but the very next week, I had another talent that was on a Netflix movie that had to be a bit of a wild character. Like, this guy's dating various girls, and then this girl shows up, and she's supposed to be like wild and like freaky and like weird, and he has to like kind of give her this look like, oh my gosh, like, you know. And it needed to be some, you know, like, so if you've battled with people telling you that you're wild and a freak in a bad way, and now you're going to go act this character, which is everything that you've been trying to avoid. Like, you need to make sure that you go in and you're protected. You're protected. When I say protected, like, protected about what the enemy is truly saying. Because at the same time, this is an opportunity for you to get in front of Netflix. Like, this is, you know, so, so, but having experienced what I had experienced about being a goat, you know, so when I was speaking to her before she went on to set, I said to her, okay, cool. Okay, are you going to believe the lie? Because this is the lie. I'm telling you, this is the lie. The lie is that you are freaking and weird. No, you are gorgeous. You are designed. You're a beautiful masterpiece. Do not believe the lie. Okay, he's going to look at you, and he's going to look at you with disgust. You better. You own the character. That disgust is not anything upon your life and your future. So those are the kind of, I feel like, the words people need to hear, because, yeah, because it can attack you.
It sounds like, even if you're just playing a role, you don't want those thoughts that where you sort of have to embody this character, corrupting your actual being as well. So I find it interesting you mentioned there Netflix. Can you tell me about, in terms of how the environment's changing, where you have the media changing itself? So where before, if you think of screen time, maybe 20 years ago, everybody's screen time was basically just TV or you go to the movies. Now screen time is like spread on your phone as well, where people will watch YouTube. see social media on their phone. Like, they spend more time on their phone screens than actually in front of a TV screen or something, for instance. More people watch Netflix than they actually watch TV. So, how is the face of the whole um, space changing, and for your agency as well, like the jobs that you get and jobs you give people?
Yeah, I think one, it's opened up doors and opportunities. I think what's really great and what I love about Netflix is that it doesn't stop us from dreaming. We're working on something currently, but um, like before, I think TV felt way further than 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 what it is today. And when I say further, it was just like it was more like a dictator system where this is what you will watch from 7 to 7:30, and this is this is only the what you can watch on these three channels, and that's it. Where now it's just like you as the individual can choose the content which you want to feed your mind with, you know and that's good and bad. Like, so um there's pros and cons to that, I think, but um it gives the viewer the choice, and in doing so, I think that also just creates these streams of opportunities that are focused on stuff that you want to watch.
And in terms of like something that I've seen growing and becoming more popular is where in the space of advertising, so a lot of like talent you'd, you know, run ad campaigns, you'd have, you part of that whole process. What's becoming a lot more popular recently is where influencers are being used for marketing as well. Um, And in South Africa, like for this year, it's projected to be $27.14 million spent on influencer marketing, which is 11% up from the previous year. The previous year, it went up by 5%. So it's like every year that it's increasing sort of exponentially. You know, do you see your approach to sourcing talent being influenced by the space of social media? And also, like, I imagine social media is also a way for you to give exposure to your talent as well now.
Mhm. Yeah, that's true. So I think it's one of the advantages of choosing influencers over an actor, let's just put it that way, is the fact that you are you have an opportunity to speak to the hearts and the minds of the people in the industry that it's almost like these influencers have created these communities of people that are interested in what this person is saying. So it's a direct thing. Not saying that all influencers have like a community that is correct and close knit and engaging, but I can understand the reasoning why choosing an influencer to talk to the audience works. Whether that affects whether I take people on, I think no. Um, I'm not an influencer agency. I I prefer, because let's put it this way, because there's almost like this sense of entitlement and you know um, there's also another journey space. But what I do tell talent is that be careful what you do post on social media.
Can you maybe give examples like what they can post and what is like a no go?
Well, I mean, it's just like you are a brand, right? You are a brand. Your body is a temple. Let's just keep that in mind. Like, what you put out in the world, let it be good is my big thing. So, um, that's me. But obviously, people have voices and advocate for certain things or not. But you've seen how social media can make or break somebody. Um, and I think also with social media as well, with brands like we have the opportunity to be ahead of the campaign. So if you're choosing, like, let's do fast foods, for example, they're all competing against each other across the board. So we know the campaigns that are running for all the brands currently right now. Like, not that the brands know that what's happening on each one. So you're not allowed to post content about the ad until the ad's out. So you have to be very conscious of that. If you are a mega influencer and you post about being on a fast food brand that's not supposed to go, that's damage. Like, you cannot use that social media content. So that I think that's made the industry like quite challenging for the industry. So that's the negative side when you're like leaking information and you have to be very strict about that.
Yeah, big when it comes to mine is with Tom Holland. We would open the script in front of everybody, and it's like, there, it got leaked.
You don't like it's very confidential. On the positive side is that social media also offers you a platform to show your skills, and so um, directors are able to see what's out there just by looking on social media, just by you creating your own content. And I do encourage people to create the content that you want to show the world, you know, because that's also your voice, that's also your platform. But let it be something, as I said, let it be good, let it be um, worthy for you to get paid for it.
I always like to end off by asking the guests just for a question that they use as a guiding principle. Like one question that they routinely ask themselves that guides their thinking. So, what would yours be?
Is it good? Is it praiseworthy? And is it noble?
Okay, is it good? Is it praiseworthy? And is it noble?
Yeah, because if it's those things, proceed. And if it's not, then delete, move on.
Okay, thank you so much. I really appreciate you doing the podcast today. I imagine there's a lot for people to take in terms of just being your authentic self, taking up your space, dealing with rejection, and then also, how to persevere through things, having a positive mind, and looking forward, not just thinking of the loss now, but also what is it all in service towards. So, if
Yeah.
people want to follow Stone Culture or what you do, where can
Yes.
they go?
So they can go to Instagram. It's Stone Culture ZA, or our website, which is stoneculture.co.za. Yeah, they can follow there. And then I'm on Instagram as well. It's Kanya_Middleton, Middleton.
Okay, sweet. Then I'll have it linked in the description below if anybody wants to follow. Thank you again. Have a
Awesome.
good day.